before I say anything else, let me be clear about one thing. If you're watching this, I think something already got through. I didn't understand the danger when it started, just an email notification, the kind that pops up while you're half asleep and scrolling without thinking. But this one wasn't normal. It came from my own address. At first, I figured it was some glitch, some stupid spoofing attempt, or a hacked password. That happens, right? Annoying, but hardly worth panicking over. But then I noticed the timestamp, 10 years in the future. Not delayed, not corrupted, not misread. Future dated. And inside, warnings I should have listened to. Warnings I ignored. I didn't think much of it until the lights started flickering. Until I heard footsteps in the hallway, even though I live alone. Until I lost nearly an hour without understanding where it went. Something shifted around me, like the walls were holding their breath. I shouldn't repeat everything the email said, not yet. There are parts of this story I should probably leave out, but if I do, you won't survive what's coming. Just know this. Do not open any emails from yourself, especially if the subject line is blank. I can feel it close now, the way the air tightens before a storm. Whatever slipped through that message isn't finished with me. And if I want any chance of stopping it, you need to understand how it began. I need to start from the beginning before the timestamp became impossible. Yesterday started the way most of my days start. Too early, too loud, and with my roommate blasting music in the shower like he's auditioning for a musical no one asked for. I work remotely, which sounds relaxing until you realize it mainly means answering emails from people who think urgent means I forgot to do my job. Fix it for me. So yeah, pretty standard morning. Coffee that tasted burnt, inbox overflowing, the usual parade of digital nonsense. I wasn't expecting anything strange. I wasn't even fully awake. I was just scrolling, half skimming, half regretting my life choices. Then I saw it, an unread message at the very top of my inbox. Normally, Gmail sorts everything chronologically, but this one wasn't from today. It wasn't even from this decade. It was from me. Timestamp, March 2035. Subject line, read this alone. For a moment, I just stared at it, waiting for the caffeine to kick in enough for my eyes to make sense. My first thought was spoofing. Someone faked my address. Happens all the time. Annoying but harmless. My second thought was one of my friends pulling a prank. They know about the weird tech stuff I've dealt with before. I've mentioned some anomalies online, little glitches I couldn't explain. But this one felt different. I hovered over the preview text, skimming just enough to see a line that made my stomach twist. Not because it was threatening, though it was, but because it sounded exactly like me. Not just in writing style, in tone, in the way I ramble when I'm nervous, in the way I break sentences when I'm trying to get everything out before I lose my nerve. I won't repeat the line yet. You're not ready for it. But I will tell you this. There was something attached. Something I still can't explain. I should have deleted the whole thing right then. Should have shut my laptop and walked away. Instead, like an idiot, I clicked it. I clicked the email, and everything changed. When I opened the email, the first few lines sounded almost casual, like I'd written it on a bad day and accidentally scheduled it 10 years ahead. It started with the kind of dry humor I use when I'm trying to pretend something isn't seriously wrong. A joke about my terrible sleep schedule. A reminder to stop drinking energy drinks after midnight. Stupid, harmless things. But then the tone changed, sharply, like the writer, like I realized time was running out. The next paragraph was frantic. Do not let it see you. Not don't look at it. Not stay away from it. Let it see you. The implication being it was already looking. Then another line, rushed, almost smashed together, like future. Me didn't have time to correct typos. Avoid all mirrors and reflective surfaces after midnight. That one hit me harder than I want to admit. I've always had this weird discomfort with mirrors in the dark. Nothing supernatural, just the usual human unease. But seeing that warning, written in my own voice, made the back of my neck tighten. And then the third warning, the one that still makes my skin crawl. If you start hearing footsteps behind you, do not turn around. I should tell you everything else the email said, but I won't. Not yet. Some parts need to come later, when you'll actually believe me. There was one line, something future me wrote near the end, that made my stomach drop so fast I felt nauseous. I can't say it now. If I say it too early, it won't make sense. And it might scare you in a way you're not prepared for. Below the message was a second attachment, a photo, blurry, grainy, taken at night. It showed me, sleeping, on my side, facing the wall. Nothing unusual except the angle too low, too close, as if the camera had been held by someone crouching inside my room. Someone inches from my bed. I stared at it for a long time, trying to rationalize it, trying to find any explanation besides the obvious, impossible one. And at first, I thought it was a joke, until the photo updated itself. At first, I thought the changing image was just my eyes playing tricks. But when I reopened the email to prove to myself the photo hadn't moved, the attachment flickered. Same file name, same timestamp, but the image was different. The angle had shifted a few inches closer to my sleeping body, like the photographer had leaned in. I told myself it was a caching glitch, some weird rendering issue, but my chest tightened anyway. I closed the email, reopened it. The angle shifted again. The camera was now near my shoulder. I felt a cold pressure behind my ears, the sense you get when someone is looking over your shoulder, even though you're alone. I forced myself to breathe slowly as I clicked the attachment a third time. This time, the photo included the edge of my closet door. It had been shut in the earlier images. Now it was open, just a crack, a sliver of darkness leaking through. My hands kept shaking, but I opened the email again. The closet door was wider, and I could see something like a silhouette hiding behind it. The outline was crooked, too tall to be me, too thin to be human. Its head tilted toward the sleeping version of myself with this unnatural angle that made my stomach turn. And the worst part, there was a faint suggestion of eyes, reflective, like they were aware of the camera. The thing behind the door wasn't me. I sat frozen at my desk, the room suddenly too silent. Even now, I swear that if you're listening with headphones, you might hear what I heard next, soft, deliberate breathing that didn't belong to me. It was as if the presence in the picture had stepped closer to wherever I was. I shut my laptop, but the fear didn't fade. The photos kept surfacing in my mind, shifting each time I blinked. I needed answers. I needed some kind of control, so I made the worst decision I could have made. I decided to reply to the email. I thought it might still explain everything tonight. I typed the reply with shaking hands, trying to pretend I wasn't terrified. "Funny prank," I wrote. "Whoever you are, you got me. Now cut it out." Part of me hoped acting casual would make the whole thing feel normal again. Before I could even hit send, a new message slid into my inbox. No delay, no loading bar, just there, as if it had been waiting for me to start typing. "If you're reading this, it already knows about you." I froze. The cursor blinked in the empty draft box. Then, somehow worse, the typing indicator appeared, 3 dots pulsing like a heartbeat. Someone or something was responding live. But the original email was still marked as coming from 2035. Another message arrived, this one frantic. "Unplug your router now." A second followed, almost immediately. "Destroy any mirror in your room. Don't look into it. Don't sleep." Each instruction slammed into me like a physical blow. The air in the room felt thick, heavy. I didn't know what terrified me more, the commands themselves, or how desperately they were written. And yet, there was one instruction I refused to follow. One I dismissed as paranoia. I regret that. I pushed my chair back, trying to calm my breathing. That was when I heard it. A soft notification sound from behind me, not from my laptop. Like an inbox ping, whispered directly into the room. My heart nearly stopped as I turned, but nothing was there, just the dim hallway and the dark shape of my bedroom door. I snapped back to the computer and tried to delete the entire email chain. I didn't care what it was anymore. I wanted it gone. But as soon as the trash folder emptied, the message reappeared at the top of my inbox. Unread. Waiting. The moment the email reappeared in my inbox, things around me started to go wrong fast. My desk lamp flicked on by itself, buzzing so loudly it sounded like something trapped inside the bulb was trying to claw its way out. My phone lit up even though I hadn't touched it, the screen cycling through apps like invisible fingers were swiping across the glass. Every electronic I owned seemed to wake up at once. I stood, backing away, trying not to look at anything reflective. But when I passed the dark window above my sink, I caught a flicker of movement, not in the room behind me, but in the glass itself. Something leaned into the frame, like a shape studying me from the wrong side of reality. I refused to look again. Then my phone whispered my name. Not a notification, not a glitchy audio file. A human voice, soft, close, and breathless, bleeding out of the speaker like it had crawled through the circuitry to reach me. I dropped the phone, but the whisper didn't stop. It kept repeating my name, slower each time, like it wanted me to answer. When I turned back to my computer, there was a new file on my desktop. Open me before midnight. The words pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. I hadn't downloaded anything. I hadn't touched anything. I just stared at it, unable to tell if the chill running up my spine was fear or curiosity. Opening strange files is horror movie 101. Don't do it. But the longer I looked at that name, the more I felt like something on the other side of it was waiting, listening. Then another email appeared, this one short, urgent, and unmistakably from future me. If you open that file, you won't be alone anymore. I should have listened. I should have shut the computer off and walked out. Instead, I hovered over the icon, my finger trembling like it already knew what I'd chosen. Because the truth is, the file wasn't a video. It was a live stream. And for a moment, just a moment, I thought I saw myself on it. If you're watching this, don't pause. Don't look away for too long. It notices. Midnight hit, and something entered my room. I thought midnight would be the peak of it, that once the file appeared, once the whispering started, the nightmare would settle into something predictable. But the moment the clock flipped to 12:00, my inbox pinged again. Except this time, it wasn't from future me. The sender field was blank. No name, no address, no origin. Just a message. I like this version of you. My skin tightened like it was trying to crawl off my bones. Before I could even process the words, another email arrived, this one with a photo attached. I clicked it without thinking, desperate to understand what was happening. The image showed the back of my head, not from earlier, not from the live stream. This one was taken seconds ago, from somewhere behind me. I whipped around so fast my chair slammed into the wall. But nothing was there, just the empty room, the shadows pooling in the corners, the hum of electronics that shouldn't have been on. Another photo arrived, then another. The hallway outside my room, the kitchen doorway, my bathroom mirror. Angles I hadn't looked at, reflections I hadn't seen. Something was moving through my home, documenting me like a specimen, tracking me frame by frame. A new image loaded. It took me a moment to understand it. White sheets, fluorescent lights, medical equipment. My future self, thinner, older, strapped to a hospital bed with restraints digging into pale skin. Eyes wide open in a frozen expression of pure terror. Then the next image nearly made me gag. It was me, dead, mouth open like I was trying to scream myself back to life. The room felt too small, like the air had curdled. That was when I understood. It was future me sending these. It was the thing using my email as a doorway, using timestamps to reach backward and forward, jumping across years like they were hyperlinks, attaching itself to people through messages, pulling itself into their lives through whatever it could grab. My laptop chimed again. One final line from the real future me. One he must have squeezed out before the entity took over. You can't kill it. You can only pass it on. If you're watching this, you've already seen the timestamp glitch. Future me said it spreads through stories. I realized then the only thing left to do was follow the instructions I ignored earlier. I've been avoiding this part. I told you earlier that there was a section of the email I refused to read. The part future me said would make everything real. Well, I can't avoid it anymore. The email starts shaking on my screen, the timestamp flickering between now and 10 years from now, like it can't decide which moment it belongs to. And then the text finally stabilizes. In 10 years, you'll try to warn everyone. They won't listen. I felt my stomach drop. So record everything, post it. Let the entity choose someone else. I didn't understand at first. Choose someone else. Choose them for what? To replace me. To take my place in the timeline it's eating. My future self tried to keep the cycle contained, tried to be the last one infected. But he failed. I'm failing. And now you're here, listening. That's when I heard it again. The footsteps, the slow, wet dragging sound across the hallway. The one I was told never to turn toward. Future me warned me. If you hear it, don't react. Don't acknowledge it. Don't look. But the sound got closer and closer until it felt like breath against my neck. I shouldn't have turned, but I did, and I wish I could tell you what I saw. I really do. But the moment my eyes met it, the world seemed to split, like reality was just wallpaper peeling away. If you're still here, then the video didn't get taken down. Yet, I need to talk to you directly now, not as a narrator, but as the person this thing is hunting. Ever since I read that last line, my inbox hasn't stopped. The same email keeps sending itself over and over from different timestamps. 2031, 2033, 2039. One came from 20 minutes in the future. I think that's how it moves. It doesn't crawl or walk or float. It jumps through time, through signals, through people who notice the glitch too long, and it hates being ignored. The more I try not to look at the messages, the louder everything gets. My phone buzzing, my speakers crackling, that faint breathing in the hallway. It knows I posted this. It knows you're watching. Future me warned me. It attaches to the one who thinks about the timestamp the longest. So if your mind keeps drifting back to that date, if you're replaying it, trying to make sense of it, well, just don't. For your own sake. And listen, if you ever see an email from yourself, delete it, don't open it. Don't even hover your mouse over it. That's how it learns you. But if something strange does happen tonight, a notification you don't remember triggering, a message that shouldn't exist yet, comment it below. Other viewers might be able to help you, or at least confirm you're not the only one experiencing bleed through. Think of the comments as a kind of activity tracker. If enough people report the same thing, maybe we'll understand what it wants. I'm only doing what future me told me to do. Post everything. Warn everyone. Pass it on. But before I end this, hold on. I just got another email. The timestamp says 2035. The subject line is only 3 words.